Okay, once again, thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Lauren Jones, and I'm a senior account manager here at MGMA. And I'm also the lead data strategist or lead the data strategy department at MGMA. Today, you'll be seeing a live product demonstration of MGMA's newest data solution offering, DataDiscovery. We would love for this session to be highly interactive, so we encourage you to use the chat function at the bottom of the screen to post any questions you might have throughout the demonstration. And we have a team on standby ready to answer those questions for you. Bring us your questions or any current challenges that you may have in your practice, and let's work together to show you how data discovery can help build those for you. When you do post a question, again, just make sure that you have the settings set to everyone so everyone can see your question and the answer. After we conclude our session today, we will be sending out a link for the recorded version of this. So for any team members or coworkers or colleagues that were unable to join either Tuesday's session that we hosted or today's, there is going to be a link to a recorded session for you that you're more than welcome to share with anyone. We also encourage you to set up a one-on-one with our team and yours, which will allow us to assess your needs and have a deeper conversation of data discovery and seeing if it's a great solution for you and makes sense for your practice. So I will be dropping in just a moment in the chat a scheduling link if you do want to take us up on that one-on-one calendar invite. So a little quick background about MGMA and data discovery and how we got there. So with MGMA, we're widely known for our data and more specifically our DataDive product. Our data has evolved over the last 10 years. So we went from printed reports back in the 80s and 90s to CDs, and then also to DataDive, which is our web-based platform that we launched in 2008. We built DataDive to really provide that more robust and convenient and interactive experience for our data and our members, and it provides great intel into benchmarking, into seeing those benchmarks that you may need to run a successful practice. Mostly, we've always focused on physician compensation, productivity, and retaining and recruiting physicians. But over time, we expanded that into cost and revenue and operations surveys, which really sets us apart from the industry as few other groups out there capture that type of data and report on it. And so that type of data actually provides the ability to benchmark practice performance and to be more efficient and profitable and productive. So we really wanted to enhance those particular two data sets, make it more interactive, where practices can use it in a more real-time analysis. So that's where data discovery comes in. We partnered with a group called Whitespace Health. They're joining us on the call today as well. And we developed data discovery. So it's definitely something that I want to make clear. It is a complement to DataDive and not a replacement of it. It's an interactive visualization dashboard that syncs into your EMR system and pinpoints high and low areas of performance against your own KPI targets, showing you areas of opportunity for improvement. And then we've pulled certain metrics from MGMA's DataDive into data discovery, which also allows you not only to benchmark against yourself, but then those industry data points as well. This is what really sets our product apart from all others in the market. It's the only product that we've partnered with to include our own benchmarks from DataDive in that. So before I transition it over, I just wanted to share a few people who are on the call with us today. From MGMA, we have Andy Swanson, who's our Senior Vice President of Product Strategy and Industry Insights. Mark Spritzer is our Senior Sales Director. And then we have Liz Gurley, who is also our data strategist. And then I'm joined by Ani Osborne, Amar Rao, and then Jareen Matthew, who are all from Whitespace Health. And Ani will be giving the demonstration for us now. So Ani, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. And we are looking forward to talk about our product. And I'll start sharing my screen. Please let me know if it's visible. Right. Can you see the data discovery screen? Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, as Lauren was saying, this is one of the only products in market that is integrated with MGMA data discovery. And as I'm presenting, you will see in a lot of our charts, we will have MGMA median integrated to show you to make it very easy for you to compare your data against the peers' data. First, what I will do, I'll talk about the overall like the UX, how the product works, what does it do? And then I'm going to focus today on the practice operations side. And then if we have enough time and you guys have questions, I will give the microphone back to my colleague, Jerry Matthew, who is the SVP of the financials and RCM side, and he will take that one over. So overall, how does this work? We have over 300 built-in charts that are under two areas: financials, which is bread and butter of any healthcare data, the RCM side, the billings, the payments, the ARs, etc. And then the operations side, which is, think of it, everything you need to do to manage your operations and in your practice, be it from referrals to revenue to expenses, patient access stuff. In each section, we have all the charts grouped into cohesive groups. Like if we are talking about the cycle on lead time, like their next available appointment, then those charts will be grouped here. However, what makes this product so unique is our ability to give you easy and way to create your own pages. So you don't probably want daily to look 300 charts, but you want daily to keep your eyes on charts that matter to you, your billing, your payments, or your utilization. All you have to do, come on this side and create a page that says daily view or whatever it is that you care about. And then add charts to that page, and then you can customize whatever you want there and add those charts there to view them. And then, of course, every one of these will come with a homepage to allow you to add your most important KPIs there too. You can share your personal dashboards with others or keep them unique to yourself. So this is just like a very high level how you can navigate the operations, financials, and creating your own pages. What I want to do next is kind of also talk about how do we get this data. The way we do it is proprietary data pump technology. So let's say you are using Epic or NextGen or Mediso, whatever the software it is. We are going to integrate with the back end of that product and receive the data through our scripts, bring it all into our database, normalize the data, and then turn on all the charts. So you don't have to do anything. Your IT team doesn't have to do anything. All we ask is access to the databases. And what makes this product so robust and so different in the market, that we integrate with every single software you are using. So it's not just going to be your EHR or EMR. Let's say you have your workforce staffing data in ADP or Kronos. We will get that information. Let's say you are having your revenue and expenses inside of QuickBooks. We will get that one from there. You are using availability for patient access management, such as like prior authorization and eligibility. We'll get that one too, and so on and so forth. In addition, we also do some custom charts, such as like call center. If you have Cisco or any other product that allows integrations, data access, then we can integrate with it. A lot of the time we are hearing these main questions: are you guys compatible with A or B or Z product? The answer is yes, because it's proprietary. We do not rely on their APIs. We can just get the data as long as your IT team can get us access to the backend. That said, what I want to do is showcase some simple functionality that each chart has, and then I will go a little bit more deeper on exactly how we present the data and what use cases we are trying to solve. Let's say, well, these types of charts, we call them time charts. We have different kinds of charts: time charts, KPI smart waterfall charts, the pie charts, etc. Any chart you can think of. All of them will have historical data. When we integrate, we get as much data as you want, 3 years, so you can have trends. You can slice and dice your data by turning off or on any of the legends. what makes it very intuitive, you don't even have to ask us or read hundreds of pages user guides saying, what does it mean, potential new? For every legend or every chart, the description will be right there for you. In this case, we consider any patient who hasn't come for 3 years as a potentially new client for you. In addition to being able to slice and dice through legends, you will have an option to filter them. So let's say this will be new versus established patients for all your organization, but you want to focus on one practice or one specific location or one specialty provider, or even an appointment type. You can just do that. You can change even timeline. In fact, we also get your future data. So if you want to look next 90 days, how many new patients you are going to have, all you have to do is input next 90 days and click OK. You can also see the labels. You can change the view from month to quarter. You can zoom on them and have daily views, weekly views, whichever view you want. And for most of us who love Excel, you can, of course, export it to Excel or PDF or PNG, whatever it is. Let's say a slide deck and you want to give your performance, you can quickly download the PNGs and put it in your deck. What also makes this very intuitive and helpful is the drill downs. Now, every chart that starts as a time chart can also become quickly a drill down chart, which means now you can compare, instead of month over month trend, now you can compare one entity over the other entity. In this case, I drilled down by practices. So I can choose the timeline I want and say, okay, is my one practice underperforming compared to others? If I want to go to location, I can do that too. Or if I want to go resource or empowerment type or provider, anything. We have over 5 to 6 different ways to allow you to compare your data and find trends and see where the underperformance. And then finally, what is most important, for every single chart, you will be able to receive the transaction level data. Because not only you want to know the global numbers, but you want to be able to get enough information that you can actually solve it. If anything you need to do follow-up, or you are seeing, like, let's say one doctor is having 0 new patients, you want to double check it. So you can download their whole appointments from this view and then verify everything. And this transaction view itself is also powerful. It's not just like a simple export. This can play as a sophisticated Excel where you can order, you can even group by. So in case I group by this doctor, it will give me all these doctors' appointments. If I want to remove it and do group by location, I can do it. I can filter it even in this view itself. I can change how many patients or records I want to see, or how many pages I want to see. So that's just overall on how our charts work. And it is hard for me to actually double check the chat, but I will ask my coworkers if anyone is asking any questions about the navigation. If not, please, Lauren, feel free to let me know and stop me anytime there's a question, so I don't have to check with you guys.
You're fine. There's no questions at this time.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite kinds of charts. That's the KPI smart cards. Okay, why do I love these charts? Because a lot of the time when we have so many KPIs that we need to check, how hard it is to say, okay, where am I underperforming? Where am I overperforming? What am I doing great? What do I need to keep an eye on? Nothing works better than the metaphor of green, red, orange lights, right? If it's green, we're crashing it, beautiful. If it's orange, well, maybe we need to check something. If it's red, something I need to take care of. So let's say it's a no-show rate. So 22% sounds extremely high, especially if MGMA median is 5.5%. So not only I can see quickly and understand that I need to take a look But this card uses NLP and AI technology to tell you where is the problem focused or hyper-localized. Are there specifically providers who are contributing and skewing your numbers? So you have thousands of providers and your number looks 22%, but it's only because, let's say 10, 20 doctors, their numbers are just so bad that your overall organizational numbers are being skewed. So instead of having to go through all reports and drill down and find and compare, right here, you will see where is the problem coming from. Or is there a location? Is one location too rural and too hard for people to drive there? And that is why a lot of no-shows. Or there are appointment types. Maybe you are requiring, let's say one of my favorite one that I see is medication follow-up. It is for every single client we have, medication follow-up is going to be the highest no-show because people just want to call and get their prescription refill or do video call and they want to drive 45 minutes and wait 2 hours in any practice to just refill their medication. So that's why we make sure that appointment type is one of the ways to look at this data. And when I show other cards, you will notice that what are we looking as the contributors will differ from one to other. If I'm looking at denials, of course, appointment type is not going to be main thing for me to focus, but denial reasons. But I will hang in on this chart a little bit more to talk about the fact that the goals that is set up by you too. So let's say if I want to follow that minimum, I want, let's say 30%, say 35. Let's say 28% sounds good to me. I'm fine with 28% no-show. I mean, a business that to me, that number is great because everyone's business is different. We cannot tell you what is great number. We can show you MGMA, but you do decide what is your goal. Now, once we change the goal, it will also show, recalculate everything, show the trends, and change completely who are the contributors now based on the new goals that we gave it. Is this someone who is performing well? Are there others that are contributing differently and who are doing the worst? So within one quick clicks, you can change and see who are the contributors. And this makes it most powerful and easy use KPI cards on our product. And
Hey, Ani.
Yes.
Sorry, I was just going to chime in here. Do you know, just from your successes with other clients, what, the top 3 or 4 KPIs that you've seen drive the most success?
Yes, it's actually, I will let Doreen answer for RCM side because there's a lot of different ones on RCM, but on operations, some of my personal favorites are the available versus booked slots, which is the utilization. A lot of the time, our customers love to know whether one provider's utilization, how does it compare? How does one capital equipment utilization compare to other? How does one location compare to other? We also have something is client favorite is the cancellation reasons and cancellation rate, because a lot of the time, some of the cancellations, especially if our clients have surgeons who are always on call or who are always called on a surgery, have to reschedule. Using our charts, they find that, these reschedules that my providers do end up actually turning into cancellations and never being rescheduled. So they find that, if I can change the way it's working, instead of rescheduling, maybe having nurse practitioner take those patients, then I will not lose that. And of course, the no-show rate is one of the big ones because this is one of the most undercounted KPIs in the market. A lot of the time, no-show flag itself is being misused. So we are using like 5 different ways to ensure that no-shows are really calculated correctly. The biggest one is a lot of appointments that are marked as canceled, but the reason is no-show are not counted in no-show. So we put that. A lot of the times, no one noticed that the patient didn't come in and there was no checkout. So we look at the end of the day, automatically there was a triggered closeout of the encounter while the encounter never started. So we look at this. There was an appointment, didn't get canceled, didn't get rescheduled, but there's no encounter, no check-in, no checkout. So we do a lot of different ways of trying to ensure that it is calculated. But for every single area I had, there is favorite KPIs. So I will jump on one quickly on referral and orders. Actually, right before this call, I was playing around and I didn't realize I hid all this. So I'm gonna, this is also another feature. If you feel like you're overwhelmed looking at 300 or in this case, 1, 2, 6, 7 charts on one page, close down the ones you don't want. Yeah, on this page, referrals and orders, this is the area where we want you to focus on not only your trends of referrals coming in, but where are you losing patients? So the leakage, by far, in my honest opinion, the patient leakage is one of the best ones in operations, because a lot of the time, especially in operations, that clients who are acquiring a lot of new practices very aggressively, it is hard to ensure that your providers and your staff members in network remember, hey, now you have a orthopedic surgeon in your network. So they go by their old habits and send these patients out. So this is one of the best ways to make sure that when you are acquiring new patients or new providers, that your staff is diligently sending it to you in network. Or in otherwise, if it's not from your staffs being sent out, let's say we get your CCL files from CMS, we can see where you're losing them. You can see, oh, is this because of, for example, some specific order type that we don't have that niche product or niche equipment and we are losing that, or is our location too far away from our patients? So I hope that answers your question, Lauren. And I did jump a little bit around, so I will go back to talk about cycle only time.
No, thank you. That's great.
Sure. But as I'm in the referral page, I will just kind of talk about this a little bit more, because some of the things that we want our clients to think about referrals, of course, is the leakage, but also how are you receiving referrals, inbound referrals? A lot of the time, everyone assumes that, okay, well, this is my external relationships in the market. Are these primary care doctors sending it to me? But with the way everything is going, like the online presence and everything, self-referrals are becoming one of the biggest sources of referrals, causing everyone to make sure they pay a lot of attention to their online presence and having the tools like online scheduling or whatever it is that the patients want and need, and meeting them the halfway. So this is why in our inbound referral analysis, we make sure that our clients can see of external sources, internal and self, and that they can dive in, drill down like the other one I showed, into specialty, practice, location, and get into record level details to understand the trends. Let's say if you're looking for referral doctors, you can use and see, let's say you stop taking United Healthcare. And then provider number 10, who has been sending you all these people, last quarter, he was sending you 56 and 60, 70, but there's a trend going down. It's because you stopped taking United Healthcare, and most of his patients are United Healthcare. So by quarter, you can see each and every single provider's trends. Is there anyone that your marketing team needs to follow up and ensure that they are getting the referrals you need? So I'm going don't want to spend a lot of time on referrals and orders because there is a lot to cover, and I want to make sure that Doreen has some time to cover some RCM. Cycle and lead time. The focus of this page is to ensure that your patients have timely access to care. Are you forcing your patients to wait more than 14 days? All the studies and our own analysis shows that when you make patients wait more than 14 days, not only you are going to make their satisfaction to go down, but you're going to start lose patients. When we correlate patient volume and their next available appointment, the correlation is very strong because people do not want to wait 14 days. They're going to start looking for other providers who can get them in faster. Or the other way, let's say you got them in, they waited 3 weeks, but now they're spending 93 minutes in your office because there's a lot of bottlenecks in your process. And actually, I do have one more widget here that will show me finding the areas of bottlenecks. Are people spending a lot of time on registration or in the lobby or spending with MA, or they are spending a lot of time with provider, which is good, but you don't want your patients to spend a lot of time on registration or in lobby. You want to make sure that you can, before the visit, send all this documentation, get them ready, or ensure that everyone is going as fast as they can through the process so they can spend the most time with the provider. And then, of course, you will see all the metrics around that. Their next one, booked appointments today, how many appointments you have today versus how many appointments you have within 48 hours. Schedule management and cycle lead time, both areas will give you all the details you need to understand the patient access, gaps in utilization and gaps in schedule. Now, the patient access team operations, this is practice managers' holy grail. This will tell them the productivity of their staff members, but also this is one of favorite place for RCM leaders because a lot of the time we know that denials can be avoided in the back end if the front processes are optimized. Are you receiving a lot of prior authorization and eligibility denials? If yes, then you can ensure that your front office processes are much better, much faster and effective. So you don't have to be retroactive, but proactive about it. Or do you have to reschedule appointments? Or you have to spend months? Are you using any technology to help yourself to obtain those prior authorizations faster, or do you have to fax to this insurance companies and wait weeks and then have to reschedule or cancel appointments due to these processes? Or do you have enough staff members for each location? Or is one employee having to do hundreds of appointments, hundreds of check-ins and checkouts by themselves versus another employee in another location only gets to do 200 appointments per month? So this is just, as I said, like kind of a holy grail of how is my front office operations are working. And then finally, my favorite one, which is, and my apologies for that I have to turn this on, is this page. For a lot of time, operations, when people think more like in these 4 areas. But financial operations is the chief administrative officers or VP of operations holy grail. This is where you understand the true productivity of your staff, and not just by providers and physicians, but by your nurse practitioners and mid-levels. We work with MGMA to group your staff members using their grouping methodology. So we'll take all the people that work in your company, we will map them to different categories, from business operation to clinical staff to mid-levels to ancillary, and we will compare them not by month over month, but by visit, by provider, So you do know how many staff members you have in each location and for each provider and for each visit. Are you understaffed, overstaffed in one place versus another? So you have a true visibility of your demand versus your supply. One of the things that I mentioned earlier, we will also, if you are interested, get integrated with your accounting system and get your revenue and income data. For some of our clients, we have also made custom views where they can see the revenue by physicians versus by facility versus by specialty. So all that is one of the things we do when we get the access to your accounting data. And that's just kind of like a very high level, very quick overview of our operations, because I know everyone is very also interested to learn about financials, because everyone's pain points are usually in AR, in denials. Why is my cash flow slow? Why is my denials high? So I'll pause and see if there's any questions about operations before I have Doreen take over on our CM side.
I don't see any questions in the chat at this point, Ani.
Fantastic. Doreen,
Thank you.
it's all yours.
Thank you, Ani. Great presentation there. Lauren, can you make me presenter? And then I will cover a little about the financial, which is revenue cycle for most of us who work on that back-end operations. Now, before I go into the financials, a couple of things that I would like to mention at this stage is that the product has the ability for multiple roles and permissions. So if you're a manager and you want your physicians to have certain reports and your team to have some other reports, the roles and permissions can be set up. The product also has the ability for you to subscribe. So you could get these reports in your inbox, email, or to your physicians, email to them. So you're not manually having to send reports. And the third most important one I like is you've seen a lot of reports here today. You may or may not use all of them. We have the ability for you to add your favorite reports to your homepage. And there's a capability for you to create new pages. So let's say you were having multiple responsibility. You were looking at the front office or revenue cycle, billing and AR. Depending on what your responsibilities, you could take these existing reports, save it in different views, and that would help you manage the data points more effectively. You don't have to manually drill down all the time. So you can save reports in different views and different locations. In the revenue cycle side, we, just tagging off that question that came from Lauren, the three areas that I think, are important for cash flow is getting your claims out fast. So charge lag and managing your encounters with charges and unbilled revenue. So we monitor all that. We give you the details, like Ani said, to the ability to get down to the details. So if I'm looking at my volumes, I can drill down by financial class or go down by payer and look at all those details. Bear with me that some of this is a dummy data, so you may not see the drill downs activated here. In charges and payments, we monitor your overall revenue, charges, payments, adjustments. We look at it from a process state perspective, and we look at it from data service perspective. We monitor payment lags, so you have KPIs to see how delayed are payments coming in from those payers. We can filter this by Medicare, Medicaid, and see what are the top payers lagging in paying you fast. We have standard reports like waterfall reports all built out, and liquidation reports, which help a lot with finance leaders, especially in accrual-based accounting and monitoring and maintaining cash reserves and booking revenue. From an AR perspective, we take snapshots of your AR over a period of time every day and maintain it. So you're looking at your AR here from the last 12 months, and I can get down to the details by clicking on it, drilling down by financial class. This time I like to show you reasons. So if somebody were to ask, what was my top denial reason in my AR last year, I can just click here and drill down, and I can see that authorization denial was my #1 problem. last year. And now when I click on it, let's see what I've got. It's coding related. So authorization has come down, and coding related denials are my top problem. So you're able to monitor over a trend and drill down into the details. From a denial management perspective, we give you your first pass denials and also the ability to look at your denial trends. With MGMA's data points coming in, you're able to look at what are denial rates for physicians across the country. Again, same concept of drilling down, look at it, and you can either look at your top denials by just coming in here and saying that, okay, what is contributing to my denial being so high? Let me pick my top denial reason for this latest report: non-covered services, coding, bundling. Or you can trend it out here in the other reports just by drilling down and getting down to the details. This is more functional in a sense because you have multiple tiers of drill down and your focus. What I mean by that is, if I pick practice, I'm now focusing on the practice for the month of July. And if I click again, I'm now clicking, you can see here that I clicked on July, then West Elm, then I go to White Mountain, and I go to Dr. Patel, and I get the details. So it monitors how I got there. So I know I'm not getting a large data dump. It's focused data that I can use. One of my favorite reports in denial management is my CFO would always ask me, how are you doing with recovering on denials? And so we've got a smart way of monitoring that. We take your denials and we look at everything that happened after you got the denial. So did your team work on it and did you get paid? Is it still remaining in your AR? Has it been written off contractually or write-offs that are no paid? Sometimes you void these claims, and most of the time, in many cases, I think, we bill the patient because some services are not reimbursed. Let's take this example here. If my CFO were to say that, hey, we are not doing great in our denial recovery, our cash is low, I'm able to come in here and like we saw here, we are seeing what the trend of denials are here. But now I can look at it and say, am I recovering on those denials? So my denial recovery rate, again, please bear with us, this is all dummy data, but our denial recovery rate is very low here. It went high, but it started coming down again. So 16-17% is concerning. So where are those denials right now? Is it still left in the AR? Is it written off? Or has it been voided or moved to patient responsibility? I get a clean picture of all that. Now the question is, what is going on? So drill down by reason code. So for that 17% that was paid, or rather 85% that was not paid by insurance recovered by insurance, we're able to see what are the areas that we need to focus on. So use eligibility as an example. 42% of denials got converted to a payment, whereas 57 is still left in the AR. So somebody needs to be working these accounts. Maybe we don't have the bandwidth or you don't have the time, but also as a revenue cycle leader, you're able to go to your front office operations leader, drill down to this transaction details and say, hey, how can we avoid these eligibility denials taking place? Can we do a scrubbing process or eligibility check? So this report helps you improve your front-end processes to a great degree. Another example here is this one, dark blue, 100% of authorization denial is still left out there. We probably haven't got to it, or they're not, we try to get it reimbursed and it's sitting out there. There are two problems here, right? One is your AR is going to be bloated up because it's sitting, all these denials are sitting there and your team has got all this information to work through. The second problem is, why are we getting authorization denials? Maybe we could get down to the transaction level details and look at, or by CPT, and talk with our coding team or physicians and say, we are getting denials for certain codes. These are not covered by providers and by payers. And it seems like Medicare is the top one here. And when I drill down further by CPT, by reason, by specialty, I can get down to even to the provider level, right? And tell what is causing and where should our focus be. So Dr. Chang's claims are not getting paid because he's doing a lot of procedures that are not authorized. So as you can see here, within a few seconds, I was able to get down to what's going on with my AR, what are my top denials, why are my denials not recovered, And Dr. Chang apparently in this example is doing some procedures that are not authorized. And this allows you to tell the story of your cash flow in a much more effective manner and work with the leaders in your organization to say, we've got some guided and actionable insights coming from data discovery that will help us change the trajectory of how cash flow and revenue is recovered. Moving on, we've got data points on write-offs. Payer analysis is about your payer mix, collection mix. If you have a queuing system, work queue system, we can connect to that and give you your data points from your queue system. Finding what is patient responsibility, how much of balance is moved to patient responsibility. And in this age, telehealth is must have, a telehealth program. And if you started one and you've got an active telehealth program, we've already got dashboards to show you how effective it is, what are your charges, payments, and revenue that you're getting from your telehealth program. So that was a quick rundown of what we cover in revenue cycle. Just like Ani said, we don't do justice in these 1-hour sessions, but hopefully it gives you a little taste and feel of how robust data discovery has been designed by industry leaders, looking at key performance metrics, bringing in and comparing it to benchmarks with MGMA benchmarks with physicians, providers across the country, and giving you some guided analytics on where you should focus on. If there are no other questions, Lauren, I'll hand it back to you for next steps.
Great, thank you, Jareen. So there are no other questions in the chat at this time. So if not, we will close up this session. First, I just wanted to say, behalf on all of us here, we really appreciate you taking our time today. I know it's really valuable time, so we truly appreciate you guys joining. Again, if you are interested in doing that one-on-one session, I have shared the link below. I will also just reshare it one more time. If for some reason any of the times available on that link don't work for you, please feel free to email me. I'm going to share my email address at in the chat as well. And we can do a one-off, one-on-one too outside of those times. So we have a team here, happy to meet with you, answer any questions you may have, do a more in-depth session for you all. And with that, I still don't see any questions, so we will wrap it up. Thank you very much for everyone attending today. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.